Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for October 27th, 2016. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We continue to coil up. That's been the case here as we head into election day. We continue to coil up. We're chopping around 21.35. We're chopping around 21.44.75. And that's really, a little bit above, a little bit below, and chopping around those areas until election comes around. Eventually, we're going to see a major breakout from this range. We'll probably see a test at both edges before we see the real deal come, but we'll be watching this in the higher time frame as the day approaches. Let's drop down to the intraday time frame because not a whole lot's going on the swing time frame right now. Mostly just trading sideways in the ES in a larger range. Here's 21.24, here's 21.50, and we've seen price just trade the edges here. We were trading a little bit around the midpoint here yesterday. We're kind of making our move up. Right now, pushing above 21.40 would imply that there could be a retest here of recent highs in the 21.50. 21.44.5 is a big level here. Any failure to hold above 40 would auction things back down toward current VPOC here, 21.32. So at the moment, not a whole lot of great key levels here to work off of. Just right now, we're kind of just chopping in the range. You got to be very, very careful. I would say 21.40 is the early key level. Holding above that level would suggest a little bit more uptrending behavior. Failure to hold above 21.40 would auction and rotate this back toward 21.32. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Here's crude. We have a higher time frame of crude oil right here. Basically, this one has been working its way lower. You can see right here we had our move in the 52s, it rejected, and since then it's been lower highs day over day, lower lows day over day as this thing is pulled back. Additionally, price pushed back below 50 here and made it resistance and is now holding below the previous week's low price. So right now that previous week's low is very important. Price is chopping and holding just below it. Failure to remain below that level would auction prices back to new highs. So I would say that if prices were to get back above this white line here, the previous week's low, you may see a squeeze ensue that brings prices back to new highs into 52s. Failure to get back above this point would likely rotate things back toward value below. So right now, the important level to watch is going to be that previous week's low. It's about 49.47 is the level, and that's going to be the big time level to watch here. Short term, as this thing kind of plays around that area. Now let's take a look here at the intraday time frame. Here's the intraday time frame here. Here's the previous week's low right there. And you can see price came below it, tried to hold, squeezed above it, then came back below it. So 50 is an important level, and right now 49.47 is very important. And you can see price just chopping around that zone. We have a little bit of a trading range here from about 50 to 50.10 down to about 49 to 49.80. Right now, that's the edges of the range. You'd look to fade this way and look to fade back up short term. But we're going to keep an eye on this 49.47. Any push above that area could easily lead to a test at the 50 to 50.10 zone short term. All right, let's take a look here at gold futures. Here's gold. We bring up the higher time frame here. Basically, in gold futures, one thing you're seeing here is that price won't move. It tried to get a little bit of a bounce here, tried to be a little bit of an absorption signature, really wasn't going, and has kind of just needled off toward the apex of this ascending wedge. Right now, 12.80 is the big time level. Above that level, squeezes into 13 to 13.10. 12.60 on the bottom side is the short-term level. Failure to hold that level retests lows and likely drops this thing to the next area of support below, which is 12.0830, 1200. So right now we're kind of in midair, and we are trading in a very, very tightly coiled range. I would be very cautious of the breakout because when you have a tight range like this, there tends to be false breakouts at either edge before you see the major continuation. So be cautious of this area. You got to be very, very careful in here. Let this thing continue to develop, and eventually we'll see the move, and we'll be able to follow on that move. But right now, 12.80 up, 12.60 down are the levels to watch. All right, let's take a look at the NQ. Here's the NQ right here, blowing this thing up a little bit. You can see that prices are still always very near a new high. We've seen a big push up to new highs here recently. Price wasn't able to see acceptance above 4,900, so it rotated back to 48.40, the key level. 48.40 became support and we bounced. So right now it's, again, we have a range, however you want to dice it here, and prices have been just trading in the edges. Right? This recent rejection off the highs could mean more of a pullback here, as low as 47.60, but any pullback has been a buying opportunity within this very, very bullish trending market. So right now, again, not a whole lot to do on a swing basis, so let's drop down to the intraday. Here's the intraday chart. Basically, the previous week's close is becoming very important here. Here's the previous week's close. You can see many bounces off that level. A couple yesterday, a couple today already, and prices are pushing higher. This is going to be an important test, 48.8175. That's the previous session's high price. So if price cannot establish acceptance above that high, that could be a quick short-term rotation back toward 48.50 and down below. Any acceptance beyond 48.80 opens up a continuation toward these upside targets, but again, 49, very, very important here recently. So keep an eye on some of these upper side targets. We've had a lot of back and forth action. 48.40 to about 4,900 has been the range. So when price gets to one of those edges, that's when you're looking to fade the opposite way. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this plays out the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.